Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Conquer the Clutter podcast for January the 17th. It's a bitter one out there where I am today. I hope you're getting more pleasant weather. We're going to have to do a slight change in the subject matter. Word decided to become a brat child today. And the document is sitting on my desktop in the library of the Word documents that I've produced. And they bring it up and then it goes poof and disappears. It takes about 3 seconds for a week's work to disappear. Anyway, it is there. I just can't access it in order to work. So we'll solve that word problem and I will bring that material to you, I hope, next week. So this week, it's an opportunity for us to do two things. First of all, I gave everybody some homework. Watch a few windows close. No windows closed. That's wonderful. And so we're going to do an open forum of the review of the homework. Remember, I asked you 3 goals, 3 strengths, 3 areas in need of improvement, and 3 fears. All right. Then I asked everybody to please give yourself an honest try with a timer of that 15-minute strategy that I have developed myself and that I coached everybody on last week to help you start to expand the window in which you can focus. All right, it's about focus and persisting and not limiting yourself in the long run by over promising, over committing, and then you do this marathon, but you never come back to it because the last memory you have of it was, whoa, when you sat down, suddenly the adrenaline ran out. And then you feel like you've been hit by a Mack truck, mentally, physically, emotionally. All right. No one in good mental health goes back to situations like that. And then you blame yourself because the piles are still there. It's a trap, and I want us to work our way through realistically how to break the habit of that trap we set for ourselves when we marathon something and it's really not a life and death situation. Okay. So, how many people committed and did the 15 minutes, if not every day, a number of times this week? Can you put your finger up or your hand up? You can do it in real time, or you can do it with the little icon in the, I think it's the reactions section down at the bottom. Oh, we got quite a few. Ooh, wonderful. That is great. For those people, since I don't want to leave anybody behind, all right, progress is a progression. All right. And so for those people who didn't manage to do the 15 minutes a day or a number of times, right now, I'd like you to reflect on what was the issue. What was the issue that kept you from giving yourself that experience of, can this work for me? All right. Because that's what this was about. Giving yourself the opportunity to experience, can and how can this work for me so that I don't have to spend the rest of my life looking at piles and feeling like they're stronger than I am. They're in charge. All right. This thing I can't control is in charge. That's not true. You can control it, but you learn to control it by taking back your capability, tiny bits at a time, so that it's not just a mental exercise. All right. It's actually you going back in your memory banks and having had the experience of limited short-term success repeated a number of times. Doable actions repeated a number of times will get you there, and it will keep you there. I promise you that. Letting other things interfere and get in the way, either to rob you of time, energy, focus, whatever other things it robs you of, all right? That's not a winning recipe, all right? And you don't come here every week not to succeed. You come here every week to gradually get a hold of what's the next step that will pay off for the effort I have to make and the little sacrifices I have to make too. So, all right. I think what we do, who here today would like to share what 3 goals are, what 3 challenges are, what 3 fears are, what 3 dreams are, and how it was doing the 15 minutes, even multiple times in the week, if not every day. Who would like to share that? I have no hands.
Hi.
Hi.
And I had a couple simple things written down, and while talking, I started writing out all the things I accomplished and how, and noticed how I've been using this tool. Well, I always use it, but I really used it because, and it's hard to do what the actual dream is, but some of the big accomplishments are that, well, I'd say the dream is I want to be independent, and one of those things is to be able to drive. I haven't driven since 2017.
Okay.
So I needed to move my car and get estimates and repairs, and also so it wouldn't be towed. I emptied the front of the car. I decided that that was doable. I don't know if I had done that last week. I don't think so. But I kept it empty. And I also was willing to get rid of more stuff in the car, because while I was getting ready for this, moving it to get an estimate on it, and I found I had a lot of things get in my way. And we couldn't actually move it to the place I decided I felt comfortable bringing it, because the battery couldn't be charged at all. But so the things were, I acted on each of these things one step at a time. And to do that, to go, I needed to take a shower, and I cleared my shower a couple of weeks ago.
Good
I
for
cleared it
you.
again, and I showered and dressed, and I wore clean clothes and even clean pajamas. I even changed for my, I know that doesn't sound like anything, but for
No,
me,
it
it's
does.
huge.
Listen, I've seen
So-
4 showers.
So the other 2 big overriding goals were to be able to do my activities of daily living. So the kitchen, which, and also to do the car thing, I have my paperwork together. I found, cleared the car, I found the battery receipt. Also noticed that I was willing to get rid of, I have stuff in my car that can't be used. An Instapot does the valve.
Okay.
Somebody gave me a new one, so I'm getting rid of that one. In other words, I'm getting rid of.
Oh, what happened, Ashla? We lost you. We lost you. Where are you? Okay. Okay. Gallery. Does anybody see Ashla? We lost her. It did say that her bandwidth was low. Okay. Okay. In the absence of Ashla, we have another 12 minutes. I want to go through one, possibly 2, if we can do it, of the, just to orient you, get you thinking, from the procrastination workshop handout book. Okay. All right. This is going to be one of the handouts. All right. I want you to think right now of one thing, just one thing. It can be the biggest, or it can be something that you really know you can resolve. You're just not resolving it. All right. And I want you to ask yourself, what are you thinking when you bring that to mind? What are you thinking? You got the thought? When you've got the thought, nod. Okay. Are any of these thinking styles getting in your way? All right. Any of these thinking styles? 1, all or nothing. I have to do it, all, or I do nothing. It has to be, if I'm going to put the effort into it, it has to be 100% accurate, ideal, perfect, the way it should be. Those are all facsimiles of perfectionism. Or I'm not going to start. It's not worth doing if I don't do it. And it ends up exactly faultless. Is that one of the blocks? Could that be a part of the block that's getting in your way? Okay. Second is overgeneralization. Overgeneralization means that when you look at a step in the process of a way to resolve whatever this is, you've had some similar experience in the past, all right? And it didn't go that well. So when you look at this instance, this situation that you're contemplating, you don't even want to approach it because you're bringing the negative results of that former try to this situation that you're looking at right now. That's called overgeneralization. What it means is that you foresee a result based on a limited experience with something similar, and you use that as a way not to benefit from what you've learned in the meantime from that negative outcome, to make this one maybe not succeed 100%, but maybe to get you 1 or 2 steps further along in the completion of whatever this is. You overgeneralize from a limited experience, and you don't stop and ask yourself, how am I different? What have I learned that I can use this time that I didn't know then, or I didn't have then? How is this situation? It feels the same way, very similar, but how is this situation actually, if I break it down into its parts, how is it different? Who can I ask for help to help me over the bumps that maybe I don't have the resources, the energy, the strengths to clear, to get myself enough success that this thing doesn't have to remain an issue? So I don't have to resolve the whole thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay to ask for help. And I only have to get to this point in it for it not to be an issue, or not to be the issue it is right now, that keeps nagging me it needs to be done. Break it down into its component parts like we did with Dawn and the Christmas trees. Don't go at it full throttle as a complete job. Observe and respect what your system is telling you mentally, physically, emotionally, that is preventing you right now from resolving this issue. Know it, listen to it, respect it. It's trying to give you information, and break it down into small chunks accordingly. Jumping to conclusions. Jumping to conclusions quite often has to do with interpersonal relationships. It can also be in our own mind, but it plays out more often in interpersonal relationships where you read the person's body language, or you think you are, and you make assumptions based on that feedback. Now, that feedback you have to factor in. All right. That feedback changes according to how you're feeling about yourself. So on a day when you're not feeling that great about yourself, that feedback may be telling you that actually they're not upset, they're not disinterested. Maybe they've just got gas. And you don't ask. I'm seeing something in your facial expression, and I'm wondering, how are you feeling about this? Do you see something? Do you think you see something I don't see? If you're wondering, ask. Don't sit there assuming that you've put 2 and 2 together. You may have and got 4. You may have put 2 and 2 together, but you may have got 5. All right. And we're very vulnerable to reading people and situations depending on how our life is going right now. How about magnification and catastrophizing? All right. Again, depending on how we feel, depending about how we feel about the other part of the equation, could be a person, could be a situation, could be something that calls on a part of us that isn't our best strength. And we magnify, and we rarely, unfortunately, remember we talked before about we have a negative bias built into us. First, we see the negative. That's a survival mechanism. Don't let it be overused. Always ask. And we magnify, and we never magnify the positives. Well, maybe we do. When you fall in love for that first 48 hours, suddenly this person was like nothing they can't do, right? And then you start to see the warts. All right. All right. So when we magnify, we usually magnify the negative. And that in itself, if you don't break it down, that in itself can take you out of the game and overwhelm you, ending up with procrastinating. Discounting the positives. This is where some level of extreme, not even to the point of perfectionism, but certainly along that line. You look around, you worked for 15 minutes twice this week, and you can see areas that are different. And what is the conclusion that you make? It's not enough. Not enough, not good enough, because it isn't done. That's called discounting the positive. All right. Nobody goes back to something that they don't feel good about. I would worry about your mental health if you get up in the morning and you go, I can hardly wait to do that thing I really am not looking forward to. And you can create that for yourself. That's why I want you to do 15 minutes in 15-minute chunks. You can do anything. We, you, me, on our best day, our worst day, we can do anything for 15 minutes. So you're going to end on a success. And that means that when you think of, oh, I gotta go back, it's not done. Okay. You don't have this feeling. 15 minutes a day is your best friend, and it is the way out of clutter and hoarding. So long as at the same time you are completing today's work and not letting it become tomorrow's work. When you do 15 minutes to undo buildup, and you stay ahead of putting the garbage out, putting the recycling, putting the dishes, doing the dishes, or at least stacking them, putting them in the dishwasher, whatever it is. All right. That's the way out. You'll be surprised. Don't let today's work become tomorrow's problem. You don't know what tomorrow has in store for you. Might be wonderfully positive, and you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it because you owe it to yesterday. Or it might be a real challenge that's going to take everything you've got tomorrow to handle it and handle it well enough. Today's work belongs to today. And I have to say this to myself 20 times a day. Just do it now, Elaine. It never gets easier. Don't put it down, put it away. Those two things. Emotional reasoning. Feelings aren't facts. Our feelings are not facts. They are the sum total of how we're experiencing something. They are not facts. They're important for us to know. They're important for us to respect. They're important for us to take care of, but never mistake them for the truth. They are only the truth. Moral reasoning. How many people here find that they motivate themselves by shoulding themselves to death? I really should. There are no shoulds. There's want, there's can, there's will. There is no should. Should is a moral, you know those rules? Well, a moral reasoning about something never got something done and kept it done. Should is like a shovel. We just continue to dig ourselves endlessly into a hole with moralizing ourselves. I will do it. I will do it on this day. I will do it within this time frame. I can do it. Well, it's like guerrilla trekking. I can do it. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. And maybe I need to do some prep. Maybe I need to get myself ready for this job. All right. I will. I can. I did. No shoulds. No shoulds. Should never changed anything. Double standard. Now, a double standard can work. Dawn's situation was an ideal example of a double standard. I will give help, but I won't ask for help. All right. It can work the other way too. I deserve all the help and support I need, but I don't feel an obligation or a need to reciprocate. So that double standard can work both ways. You know, we did that whole series on narcissists. They're the brand of I need and I deserve, but I have no need or obligation to reciprocate. Watch out for those people. They will use you up. And you know it. You get that little bell going off inside you. Listen to the bell. The bell is trying to tell you something. Listen to your feelings. All right. They're not facts, but they are the way your system is creating a meaning for you. Okay. Okay. Labeling. I have a lot of clutter. I'm a hoarder. No, you're not a hoarder. You are not a hoarder. You hoard. Your behavior describes. Your choices describe. Your limitations because you're not accessing your strengths or the help you need, all right, to get something done and get it out of the way, or labeling others, okay, moralizing others. So-and-so is all the name calling. No, every one of us here, myself included, qualify for a label. And we are more than the labels that others unthinkingly might apply to us. We know who we are and we know what we're worth, and accept nothing less. You know who you are, you know what you're worth. You wouldn't be here looking for even better answers to things. This isn't that you have a deficit or that you're lacking. It's that you're in search. You're on a journey and you are in search of a direction and the best way to get there. The best way for you. Coming to this podcast or any other podcast doesn't make you in a deficit. It makes you, it enhances and it speaks to the fact you know you're worth the answers. And the better the answer, the better the outcome, right? And then you take that better situation and that information and you tweak it to work even better for you. You personalize it. Watch out for labelers. All right. Labelers are like putting handles on people so that you can move them to where you want them to be, not where they are working toward being themselves. Underestimating oneself. Sometimes life just takes the starch out of you, right? And when it does, sit down, catch your breath, ask yourself 3 questions. What do I need? Where is it? And how do I get enough of it to make enough of a difference to get me out of this situation? All right. But you are more than the setbacks you have. And if you're there 2 weeks later in that same state, reach out for the help you need. Do it sooner than later and get yourself back on track. Don't let it settle in. Don't let it cost you. Don't pay an unnecessary price. Everybody can get knocked out of the game. When I went away and I did that, turned out to be 2 months, off-site, an intensive with somebody, you should have seen me the next 2 weeks. I don't normally go in circles. I was having to write things down because it was like everything felt like chaos. All right. I don't do that well in chaos. And so it can happen to anybody when we become disoriented for whatever reason. It's not a lack in you. It's a lack of resource. You need to get yourself back on track, but you need not to label yourself or judge yourself while you're doing it. Okay. Overestimating oneself. Generally, that happens when you commit to something and it's out of your mouth before you really think. Before you commit yourself, make it okay for you to ask for the specifics of what you're committing yourself to. Make sure you have a really clear picture in your mind when you're committing yourself to others, and even when you're committing yourself to yourself. All right? Make sure you really understand what the image of that commitment is, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like, what it tastes like. All right? Before you commit to it, because you can fall into many of the fears, many of the barriers that are part of procrastination. All right? And it's much easier. Remember this, when you're at your worst, slow down. Don't stop. It is much easier to keep going at a crawl, moving forward one tiny bit at a time, than it is to restart from a dead stop. Okay? Hear my words. Hear my words. Should that happen to you, keep going, slow down. One small step at a time forward in whatever way looks at that time to be a positive path. Okay, everybody. You take care. Hopefully Word will cooperate next week. I'll get the geeks to help me figure out what Microsoft Word, it's gone AWOL today. And thank you all for being here. You take care, and I will see you next week. And I'm hoping to see more of you on those workshops. If you are caught up in procrastination, having a 6-week look and an intensive deep dive might be very helpful. If you're living with ADD and ADHD, what we're going to actually be looking at a tiny bit. Week 1 will be understanding it, and the next 5 weeks are going to be learning and developing strategies, techniques for getting yourself beyond paying the price for the distractibility. Okay. Take care, everybody.